The menopause has never been such a hot topic, and it's making the news with issues such as shortages of HRT and the potential of menopause leave. In this special report for the British Menopause Society, we take a closer look at the stories beyond the headlines.
For millions of women, the menopause is a major milestone, but it can be daunting. Now more than ever before, stories about the menopause and therapies are making the news.
A surge in the number of women wanting hormone replacement therapy is continuing to shortages of the treatment across the UK.
Prescriptions will only have to be paid once a year.
Women should be able to get menopause leave to stop them being forced out of the workplace.
But it's a lot of information. So what are the stories behind the headlines?
This year has been related to the increased demand. And in a way, of course, it has caused a lot of distress to many women. But the other way to look at it is to say this is, in a way, not the same challenge as dealing with issues with shortages. So the information that we were given was that there was an increased demand on HRT products, in particular certain products, the gel preparations. And as a result, the demand was more than what was available.
Just knowing that the product that you use may be in short supply, but there's an alternative that can fill a gap. We're not suggesting that women necessarily change their HRT forever, but just having access to something as a stopgap, I think, makes women less likely to panic. And I think there is a lot of work in the background to ensure that some of the products which were in short supply are not going to be in short supply in the future. And it's a difficult balance to know whether the amount of product produced should be increased, because who knows what's going to happen next with menopause. We've seen ups and downs in the past, and that's where I think the continual communication and review of the figures is definitely something that's made a big difference.
From late 20s, early 30s and beyond, testosterone levels drop. So low testosterone level in itself is not a clinical concern and doesn't need to be treated. And in fact, if you go and do a blood test of testosterone assessment on a woman in her 40s and her 50s, it's very likely that this is going to be low, and many women will be absolutely fine. So what is the role of testosterone replacement? And the evidence that we have suggests that it has a beneficial effect in improving low libido and low sexual drive that may be associated with the menopause transition. And for that, in that context, we would say it's an effective intervention.
In an NHS setting, we are using products that are licensed for use in men for women, and that comes with difficulties because the patient information leaflet is geared up towards men. And I think in the future, hopefully, we will see a product licensed on the NHS for women.
There is the wider discussion about should women be paying for HRT? And of course, if you would remember the discussion that took place and with the government last year, and there was an approval for the prescription charges to be reduced, waived in a way that a woman will pay for one prescription for 1 month, and then that will cover a 12-month supply. That was approved last year, but of course the practicalities of applying it have been challenging, and hence the reason it's not coming into place until next year. So when this takes effect, or when it comes into effect, a woman will pay for 1 month's supply, and this is likely to cover for a 12-month period. The menopause is a common condition. It's a condition that affects half of the population. A significant proportion of women are likely to experience problems with the menopause. And as these numbers, the total numbers, the absolute numbers increase, you could say you are likely to have a significant proportion of women who might not be able to afford a prescription. And this is a welcome introduction that would hopefully help address that.
I would prefer to make sure that we work on education for women, that women are given choices, and that women don't feel under pressure, say, to have HRT or to have leave from work. I think it's really important in the workplace that there is support. Most big organisations have a menopause policy. Wellbeing of Women have a menopause pledge, and I think all those things are really, really supportive. But the last thing we really want is women to have to go off work. I don't think that's good for anyone.
Scientists are still learning new things about the menopause, medicines and therapies all the time. So for the estimated 13 million women who are currently peri or menopausal in the UK right now, getting the right information out there is crucial.